Hey everybody, today I'm going to do a little bit of a review on a TRX suspension trainer. I use a TRX personally. I've used it with clients. If you're new to my page, I do in-home personal training, meaning I take this thing outside of my home and use it in a variety of settings, outdoor, indoor, all over. I've taken it on vacations, I've taken it a whole bunch of places. And so I'm going to kind of go through some pros and cons. Yeah, so let's just kind of get started. So when you order this thing, remember that it is a suspension trainer. You are hooking it up somewhere, meaning that either if you've seen them online, people connect them to a door frame. If you're outside, you can do a tree limb. You can do... but most part it's a door frame. There is also a wall mount that you can buy through the TRX that you kind of just bolt into a stud in your wall or to your ceiling. If you're doing it in the garage, it's probably in the ceiling. You can do a little bit more things with it. If you're in the house, probably not. The best place is hook it to the ceiling. So the wall stud is where it's at. So a lot of different variables that you can choose, where you want to use it, something that you can bring with if you're out of the house, something that, a gym might have or may not have. And there's some pros and cons of using this. So let's just this isn't really an unboxing. I have been using my suspension trainer here for the past 5 years, I believe. Right now you can buy them for, I think they're at like $199.95, whereas when I got them, they were $169, $169.99. So what you kind of get, sorry, mine is a little used and it's a little dirty in some sense. I don't know how much the camera is going to pick up. And so you'll get like this extension piece. There's, you can clip it into itself. There's different eyelets for you to choose. Basically, if you're looking at this, between every single black line, there's a little loophole that you can kind of connect the TRX to. You'll also get, the main bread and butter or meat and potatoes of this entire thing. And that is, where your handles connect. And there is a carabiner that you can connect to as well. I use this. I used to have a sled that I used to pull and push, and I use this with a sled as well. So my carabiner has been beaten up over the years, but it's in still very good shape. You can make this, what's great about the TRX, you can make it longer or shorter, just kind of by using these simple, releases. You can kind of clip deals to make it longer or shorter. And then there's like indicators. You can probably see that, right? Yellow. There's a yellow indicator. So as we kind of go down here, now there's two of them. So one and then two, and that kind of helps gauge, if you're working with a client or if you're working by yourself, kind of gauge, where that suspension trainer is, so it's similar to each exercise that you're doing, or, if you keep it in the same spot, or if you have a wife or a husband that you're working out with at home, you're going to have it at one setting, they're going to have it at a different setting. And so that's kind of something to kind of remember. So remember that this is a suspension trainer. It does come with, and I didn't put this into the original little mesh bag here, but it comes with something that you put into like a door frame. And so let's kind of get this off to the side. You put in your door frame and you connect your suspension trainer like this in the little eyelet, and then as you pull, it will stay in that door frame. That's good in theory and all. It would probably work well if you're somebody who probably weighs 140 pounds or less, a small man, a female, or a child. Whereas if you're somebody like myself, you're going to feel like you're going to rip the door out of the door frame or off the hinges, and you're going to feel the whole side of the wall or whatever creak. And it's not a very good feeling. Also, for instance, I weigh, depending on the season, when I'm in my muscle building stage, I hover around 200 pounds. When I'm in like peak triathlon stage, I'm like 185. And so for me, this thing did not last very long. I ended up tearing it quite a bit with the minimal use, and it's something that I really didn't want to rely on. You know, if I brought this to a client's place and we put this in their door, A, is this gonna break, or B, is the door gonna break? So for the most part, what I found out was most beneficial was to basically clip this. Okay, this is a tip. If you buy one or if you already have one, you know, you're gonna clip this within itself, you know, maybe, actually it's a little bit bigger. So it's a big loop. And you'll, depending on, you know, your preferred method, but this is my little like hack. And I'll put this circle basically in the corner of the door, and then I'll use that to help grab onto. And again, you can make it a little bit bigger for your preference depending on, you know, what you like. But basically that is my doorstop that is way more durable than this flimsy deal. It's like cardboard or padded something with a little strap that's meant to support. Hey big guy, are you coming and join the video? Yeah. Yep, not interested. So yes, so I have the wall mount that I use upstairs, and I use the wall mount upstairs, and that's what I connect my TRX to. And, oh big guy, sorry for that. We'll make a cut. Cut. Scout, enough. Go lay down. Go lay down. Alrighty, so back to the TRX. So remember that this is a suspension trainer. You're going to suspend yourself from it, either the wall or the ceiling, meaning that when you normally work out, there is some sort of gravity. Well, unless you're really in a pool, I guess. That was kind of a dumb statement. But for instance, you know, other than the big pro of this is that it's easy accessible. You can have this already connected up on in your house somewhere, mounted on the wall, the ceiling with that extra mount, or if you do kind of that, you know, little rigging thing on the door frame, is that the second pro I would probably say, since it is a suspension trainer, is that it's more upper body driven. So being a suspension trainer, it's really hard to get a really good leg workout where you're overloading. So you can overload your upper body because say you have the wall here and it's hanging down, the longer it is, the more angle you're gonna have to hang on. Either you're doing bicep curls, tricep extension, push up, you know, a row, flies, you're gonna do reverse flies. As you can kind of tell already, this is all suspended. So so it's basically back driven, arms driven, you can do some chest, but again, without overloading so much, you know, as like a chest press or dumbbells. Basically with changing that angle of pull, that's where you get more resistance. The con is that it's not really great for lower body, and that's okay. Not every person is going to need to overload a whole bunch, but basically they're able to use this as a form of stability. And so that's kind of my third pro, I guess you could say. So we have easily accessible, upper body is a pro, and then another pro is function. And so when you're doing like stability stuff, either you're doing one arm pulls, one arm pushes, you know, that kind of thing, or if you're working legs, that's when stability comes in as well. You can use the handles to kind of hang on to as you're doing like split squats, you're doing reverse lunges, you're doing some sort of side lunge into a pull, you know, that kind of thing. And so it's going to offer some sort of stability, whereas, you know, somebody would have their like hands on their hips or hands on their shoulders, and they might feel, you know, side to side. Some instability side to side. And so that's kind of something that you're going to have to like figure out. Is this something that like, do I need size for legs? You could do plyometrics, meaning you're jumping off the floor or leaving the ground, and that's great. But for most people, you know, 30s and up, they're not really looking for a lot of the jumping, you know, just a lot of impact. It's something that you can do, it's just not a lot. A lot of females don't like to do a lot of jumping stuff as well. And so, but the stability purpose is really nice. Just hit some leg work. You can work in other kind of exercises. And so yes, the only cons really are, you know, not being able to overload on the body, for lower body, and then as well as, you know, it's hard to get size because you're not overloading. Yes, you can do chest presses a whole bunch, you can do bicep curls a whole bunch, but you're not going to be able to get a whole bunch of resistance, whereas you would on a machine or some sort of free weight. So if you were to ask me, you know, should I get a suspension trainer, I'd probably say yes. Because it's something that you can always have in your house, ready, like on the wall, on the ceiling, and you can, you know, just go up, grab it, do some exercises, upper body, and then some lower body exercises as well. So it's something that's always going to be set up. And if you were to go on vacation or go somewhere else, you know, go camping, you know, somewhere else that you're not at home, you can take this with you. And that's really important. Whereas if you were at a gym and you were tied to that equipment, as soon as you're, you know, taking time off, not for like rest purposes, but for like work or family purposes, you're kind of stuck to either like, does that place have a gym that I can use to replicate it? Whereas, for instance, you can take this and get the same sort of program or results that you were intending on. Also, you know, society and culture has changed from, you know, when I was a kid to from now, is that, you know, everything should almost be like posture driven. You know, what exercises are you helping to get your posture driven? And if you've had a coach, you know, they always emphasize posture and, you know, head position. And a lot of these exercises that you would use with the TRX is going to emphasize or enhance your posture. They're going to help strengthen the muscles necessary for you to stand up tall, either at your desk, either when you're standing. And so it'll reduce this and kind of build a little bit more of, you know, that upright position. So yes, I would suggest that this is a good solid buy. It is something that you would use for a long time. It doesn't wear down except for this flimsy deal, which I kind of showed you, and how to not use it if you are over 140 pounds. And I don't think that's really in the instructions, but that is just my personal recommendation as a personal trainer. But I've had this for over 5 years. There's the new one that is out is called the Home 2 system. So I imagine this one was probably the Home 1. And so it's something that you'll be able to use, and then your kids will be able to use it, your significant other will be able to use it, if, you know, within the household. So that is my complete review, as simple as I can make it without taking up too much of your time, of the TRX suspension trainer and some of the pros and cons and things to be aware of and how to fix it, you know, like that connection point. So I hope you had a good time, and I will talk to you later. Bye.